Good. So we'll touch today one of the most fundamental spiritual subjects, which is spiritual aspiration. Spiritual aspiration, if you understand it, if you really catch spiritual aspiration, as we will see, you control the speed of your spiritual progress. The aspiration, as we will see, is the engine, is the driving force that uplifts us spiritually. Aspiration, as a definition, is the force that attracts the beings back to the source. Yeah? So it attracts, in the case of human beings, it is the force which takes you back from where you came from. Yeah? Not your mother's womb, but God's womb, if you want, the universal womb, the place from where the soul itself emerged from. There is an image there on the PowerPoint of a yo-yo. Yeah? It is like this. Beings are emitted from the source, and that is a certain force that sends them down into manifestation, according to the tantric tradition. And then at a certain point, like a yo-yo, the yo-yo feels, I want to go back to that finger that sent me, and zip. And both these movements, as we will see, are very natural. And in many spiritual traditions, they say only the movement to return home is good, everything else is evil. In Tantra, it says no. Both movements are good and natural, and also in other mystical tradition, it's perceived like that. Aspiration manifests as the longing to come back home. Once you feel spiritual aspiration, you realize you are not home and you want to go back home. And that's a very intense emotional state, or a loving state. It's a very intense longing of the soul. And if you consider it, it's a pretty peculiar state, because you don't really have, at least in the first stages of the spiritual path, you have no idea what you're searching for. You are just longing for something. Yeah, if I look at my life, I was an atheist. I didn't have any concept of any spiritual tradition that I believed in, and yet I was longing very, very intensely for something that kept me up in the night as a teenager. Without, I said, okay, I read Nietzsche. No, that didn't work. Okay, I read Sartre. No, that doesn't work as well. And I read, okay, the Tibetan Book of the Dead and the Living. Okay, something. And then I don't know what Taoism, something, and I don't know, all sorts of mystics. And you kind of search for something with an intensity, and yet what is it that you're searching for? In the beginning, you literally, or many people literally don't know. And the people that think they know because they have some dogmatic ideas about it, they also don't know. And yet the power arrives like that, and it's a real source of energy. It has a momentum, it goes, and yet you don't know where it's going, but it knows. Aspiration knows where it's going, and this is the first point that we need to realize about aspiration, is aspiration knows where it's going. If there's one thing you can trust in this life, is your aspiration. The other thing is love. Yeah? You can trust these two very nicely. If something comes from love or comes from aspiration, very good, follow it. You don't know what's behind these bushes there, but aspiration, like a magnet, go. Go, it's fine. If it's from aspiration, go. You don't know what the next step looks like. You definitely don't know what it looks like in 10 steps, and you don't know how home looks like, but you want to go home, and it takes you there, go. Yeah? Once you realize that, and you can connect more and more to spiritual aspiration, the whole problem of choice becomes very, very drastically reduced, because you can make your choices from deep aspiration. As a force, Aspiration is the genuine engine of the spiritual path. This is the thing that gives power to the path. Anything else, discipline, guilt, you say, okay, I want to do my prayers because I don't know what, I go to hell, or my grandmother beats me, or I should look nice in front of the people, or I should be anything else that puts you on your yoga mat meditation cushion on your knees when you pray, will not take you on the path. So in spirituality, the only engine that can actually drive the path is spiritual aspiration. The other engines, they go in other direction. Yeah? And people that really try, some people, they practice spirituality for 20 years, for 50 years in monasteries and so forth. And you say, well, this guy did 8 hours a day for 50 years, and the other guy did 8 hours a day for 50 years. This guy is exactly the same, and the other one is a Buddha. Yeah, well, this one drove on aspiration, and the other one drove on heartless duty. It's not working. And they did the same thing. They had their eyes closed, they cleaned the toilets. Toilets were cleaned the same way.
With the eyes closed.
With the eyes closed. It was just, the driving force was different. And many aspirants in their life, 1 year they grow tremendously, the first year, normally. And then, suddenly they're doing the same thing and they're not growing. But if you don't do it from aspiration, the efficiency is dramatically reduced. And all you can do is get tools for the path, but not real growth. Aspiration appears in the heart. Yeah, so if you feel aspiration in your elbow, only in your elbow, that's probably not aspiration. It will tend to burn there in the heart. It's a very distinct and very intense feeling in the heart, and it appears as a double flow. One of them is that you feel a great love for the Creator, if you have a personal image of divinity, or for a very abstract, formless divinity, if that's your somehow idol of worship. So you feel a love for something divine, something godly, or plainly for God, if that's your thing. And you feel detachment from this world. The more aspiration rises, the more intense that love is. And that love can become very intense. If you think that writing 20 SMSs a day and having 5 calls to your lover in the week you were very in love, that was intense love, it's nothing. Compares to the love that you can feel towards your divine ideal, towards God, towards whatever your divine ideal is, it's like drunkenness. It's like you feel that your bones are shivering, your elbows are shivering. It's coming to such an intensity that you really feel you're freaking out. You lose your mind out of the intensity and the effervescence of love, and it feels, once this love intensifies, and it's described, we'll not enter it now, Raja Bhakti, Para Bhakti, Bhava and Prema, as it's described in the Indian scriptures, you feel that you are just willing to give yourself completely. You will die now, and you will give everything now, and you will be imprisoned for life now for the sake of this love. It has a total intensity into it. This is when spiritual aspiration intensifies, that love intensifies. The second side of the spiritual aspiration, so one is love, or love to the divine, and the other one is detachment. You detach from this world. The feeling that this is my home, and I'm completely constrained, and I have everything here, and this is the only thing that matters, that reduces. This is my playground, there is my home. And it just, the weight of the world is reduced. The more the love intensifies, the more we detach, the more we feel there's no weight on our shoulder. We can engage with great intensity and enthusiasm, and particularly on the tantric path, and do big projects in the world, but for tomorrow the whole project can disappear. Yeah? And it's not that if it disappears we don't feel so bad. It's already that it's the possibility of it disappearing doesn't bother us. There is a lightness in the heart. When spiritual aspiration awakens, the heart becomes light because it's less and less concerned with worldly things. Spiritual aspiration is the power that helps us to pass spiritual tests. Spiritual tests, normally the universe is asking you, how much do you want it? You say, I want to be enlightened. I want to be with God. I want to go beyond my ego. I want to be free from suffering. I want to have a peaceful mind. I want to give myself for love. And the universe tests you. How much do you want it? Look, you are sick now. You have 2 weeks in bed. You are sick. I don't know what you have. Some disease.
Corona maybe.
Yeah? Do you still love that? Okay. And then if your heart is still burning when you are sick in bed, your heart is still burning when I don't know what, you have financial problems, your heart is still burning there, your heart is still burning, and you still long, you show the universe that you really want it. You have ecstasy in your meditation. 5 months, you feel the universe. You close your eyes, you see galaxies. And then you sit and nothing. Just your body is itchy. Where is my ecstasy? A test. The universe says, hey, you want it also when it's hard. You want it also when it's boring. And like that, after the universe asks you in 1,000 ways, you love me also like this, you love me in blue, you want me in red, you want me when it's boring, you want me when... And then if you say yes, yes, with all my heart to everything, you will get gradually, step by step, all the wonderful things and all the wonderful spiritual gifts this universe can bring. The great Christian saint, Saint Teresa of Avila, she said, if you gain love for the divine, you got everything. Once spiritual aspiration reaches beyond a certain spiritual culmination, or it rises beyond a certain degree that it becomes greater than any other driving force in our lives, everything is given to us in what sense? Everything is given to us in the sense that we want really one thing. And because we want it so intensely, it's basically always with us. And from that, all our other needs, they are very easily fulfilled. So the way to increase the speed of our spiritual evolution, if we're looking for genuine spiritual evolution, if you just want to develop some acrobatic skills in yoga or gain more money by having a better concentration upon your little goal board, or I don't know what, increase your spiritual knowledge of the scriptures, that doesn't matter. You don't need a lot of aspiration to do that. You don't need any aspiration. It's enough to be greedy to do these things. But if you want to really grow on the spiritual path, which means to reduce the level of selfishness and to really grow in love and freedom and to make your mind truly silent, then the fastest or the essential way of increasing the speed is increasing spiritual aspiration. Once you grow in aspiration, the engine is becoming from a little, this electric bike engine, which is like this, and you go slowly like this to the path, or it goes into an engine of a small car, a Mercedes, an airplane, a spaceship, whatever. To grow on the spiritual path is to grow in spiritual aspiration. Spiritual aspiration, as we will see, will grow exponentially. If you look at your aspiration now and you say, okay, I've grown in aspiration, let's say from 10 to 15 in a year, and I need about 50,000 aspiration power to be liberated, how will that ever happen? It happens because aspiration grows exponentially. So once aspiration awakens and you put it into spiritual practice, it will make aspiration grow. And that aspiration will again multiply and multiply and multiply and go very intensely, exponentially, into very, very high peaks of spiritual aspiration. So I gave here just 7 ways of increasing spiritual aspiration, which is the practical key of this lecture. One fundamental way, which is, in my opinion, one of the most important and often overlooked, it doesn't sound like it's going to work, but I can guarantee you 1,000 times that it works. You contemplate your existing spiritual aspiration. you have a bowl of oats, and when you really look at the oats, there's more oats. And if you really look at those oats, there is more oats, and there's another bowl, and another bowl, and another bowl. If you contemplate how much you long and what you long for, that longing will grow. And if you contemplate that growing longing, it will grow and grow and grow. So if you just take time to remember your aspiration and to really feel it, it will grow on its own. The second advice is to dive with courage into the essential questions of life. So life as a whole, which includes death, which includes disease, loss, gain, success, pleasure, breakup, relationship, happiness, the wholeness of life, humanity, whatever, catastrophes, corona, I think you understand the wholeness. So the wholeness of life, when looked upon from a soulful perspective, awakens aspiration. It's inbuilt in the system. If you just look at a little patch of life, which is I need to be at that meeting at 5:30, I'm late, there's traffic, doesn't bring aspiration. But if that I need to be at the meeting at 5:30 and I'm a person that was born and will die and has all the complexity of life, if you really contemplate the big questions of life and the meaning of life, and if I arrive to the meeting, and if I arrive in time to all the meetings and then I die, what will they write on my tomb? He arrived in time to all the meetings. I had a great life. I had meetings, I arrived in time. Yeah? But this is how we feel there. Well, how do you feel? What will they write there? And who are you? And what meaning? Okay, and this whole universe. And these questions, they can't really be answered mentally. You struggle with them mentally so that you stay attentive. The idea is to contemplate from the heart, and something happens. Something clicks. So first advice, to contemplate your aspiration. Second advice, to contemplate the deep questions of life, the whole questions of life. Third, this is from our teacher from Advaita, he very much insists on this, once you realize the results of your spiritual practice. So if you do an hour of meditation every day for 3 months, and then you realize, oh, this person just did something very annoying. I'm not annoyed. He did it again. Again, I am not annoyed. That meditation, I hate it. But I'm not annoyed. It's working. You get a taste. Once you start to see the correlations. Hey, I've been doing Cobra posture to open my heart. And now I feel so much love when I see the people next to me. I feel really intense love. It's so pleasant. And they are responsive. They love me also more. How? Then you really want to practice. Yes, so realizing the objective, not imagining, because this is very much in fashion, not imagining the results, realizing the results of the practice. Fourth, to be in contact with teachers or with friends with spiritual aspirations. Yeah, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So to be in contact with people who have aspiration, with teachers, it can be even reading books or listening to lectures of teachers that awakens aspiration, and having friends, and if possible, living in a spiritual community with teachers and books. So you can really have the whole thing. Any kind of perseverant spiritual practice, if done correctly, with a little bit of aspiration, will bring more aspiration. Any practice to awaken the heart, as the sixth advice. And the seventh, coming from the great teacher Ramakrishna, you pray for aspiration. You pray, you love your divine ideal, and what do you ask? For more love. And then the connection intensifies because you love more, so you will get more. And what do you pray for? More love. Again. Yeah, another cup. And what? Same like last time. More love for you. Okay, here. 2 cups. Okay, now these 2 cups, I want more love for you. Okay, 4 cups. And so forth. And again, the aspiration can grow exponentially in this way. So this is in short about spiritual aspirations and the way to increase it. And if you are serious about walking the spiritual path, this is like if you need 2-3 things to really understand about the path, this is aspiration, humility, love. If you get these 3, very good, you can walk the path safely and correctly and with real speed. Once aspiration goes, the path becomes gray, and this is also a sign. If everything became gray on your spiritual path, you're missing aspiration.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.